take a step back. I need to slow my thoughts down and relax. Been going round in circles, trying to figure out how it went so wrong. Now you're gone. Try to leave you in the past. Now that I know that you're not coming back. Still everywhere that I turn, I see your face in the crowd. What could I have done? I'm so lost. I try to forget you, but I hear your name everywhere that I go, and I can't seem to replace you. I miss you and it aches in my bones. I try to forget you, but I hear your name everywhere that I go, and I can't seem to replace you. I miss you and it aches in my bones. I feel like I lost my mind. I don't wanna be one of the reasons why. Can't believe that you left me behind. Oh, it tears at my skin and it breaks my bones. No, no. Some days I still think back to all those times that I made you laugh. How could you throw it away and leave me in pain? I can't fix anything, it's all wrong. Why am I the reason? I feel like I'm going insane. I hear your voice on the wind, still feel your touch on my skin, but I'm all alone now you're gone. I tried to forget you, but I hear your name everywhere that I go, and I can't seem to replace you. I miss you and it aches in my bones. I feel like I've lost my mind. I don't wanna be one of the reasons why. Can't believe that you left me behind. Oh, it tears at my skin and it breaks my bones. I feel like I lost my mind. I don't wanna be one of the reasons why. Can't believe that you left me behind. Oh, it tears at my skin and it breaks my bones. walls that I built for you just to dig me out with silver spoons. No, I didn't see it coming. Oh, old walls that I'm stuck inside. I guess beauty sees what I can't find. I didn't, no, I didn't see it coming. Well, I got through got your message. I want you to know that you are the love of my life. The love of my life. Old walls that I built for you just to dig me out with silver spoons. No, I didn't see it coming. Oh, old walls that I'm stuck inside. I guess beauty sees what I can't find. I didn't, no, I didn't see it coming. Well, I got through got your message. I want you to know that you are the love of my life. The love of my life.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Rose League game. Tonight we're seeing a great game between the Crusaders and Monstars. Should be a really great game. I do know personally a few of the guys from both teams, and they are all very, very excellent players. So we are in for a treat for sure. Anyways, hope your guys' night is going well. First map is going to be Rialto here. Alright, sorry about that. As we assemble our heroes, we're just going to take a quick ride through Rialto, check out some of the beautiful scenery of this map. Looks like the defending team is going to be running a dive composition with Widow, Ana, and Mercy.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Definitely a good strategy for this map, given the high ground and the diversity of the map. And just all the little spots that tanks can run away to and snipers can hide in. Looks like unless they change, attacking side is going to be running a Reinhardt, Zarya, with a Pharmacy, and then a Hanzo Ana.
5, 4, 3.
Should be interesting to see how this this dive comp runs against the Pharah. Hopefully the Widow can get a pick off early.
Stop the payload.
And really shut down one of the main damage dealers of the attacking side. Pharah dealing damage over the top. Just moving the payload, looking for status here. Genji goes for a good dash there. Not quite finding much. That Pharah still laying down damage, and not much has really happened. Defenders really starting to give up a bit of space here, but at this choke, they'll surely be making a hold. Cosmo initiates onto the Reinhardt. Not finding much, though, as those dive tanks need to find a squishy target. Can't quite zap the tanks with a double pocket forever. Cosmo goes down to the Pharah. They really need to get rid of her quick, and just as I say that, they find it. They are currently even, but as Onionfish gets demeched, they are going to be down 1-2 men in this fight. Down 1 now, but the defenders have lost their main healer, so this will be a huge issue, especially given their long spawn. I think that this first fight, at least, will be over. As Dubs gets a late pick onto Majora, that's huge. They may be able to recontest here with that Mercy pick. Moving up as a defending team, only 2 meters left, and they do contest just in time, popping the Nano onto the Reinhardt, but they come back, attackers with the grab. Cosmo able to soak most of it, but Onion getting the most of the damage. Zap with a very bold position, unfortunately goes down. Cosmo still pushing as they get the res off. Now Stormguard getting nanoed as the barrage comes down from up top, finds one, but that is just enough to turn the point over to the attackers. Defenders are going to have to fall back and reset here. Attackers just cleaning up the rest of the defenders. And Kokozel, unfortunately, with a very late stagger, trying to get back to his team. Cosmo choosing to set up pretty far back here. Interesting choice. They are going to choose to go up onto the high ground here. It looks like we're going to see a very, how do I say, Britain versus... Or, I'm sorry, Canada versus South Korean-esque game. Bomb coming in from behind, doesn't find anything. Popping Valk as the attackers. Cosmo with a huge shatter. Not able to make much out of it, but Uresi coming in with a blade in the back line. And it looks like this attacking push is going to be shut down, although the defenders did commit quite a few ultimates into that fight. Attackers coming up on grab, shatter, and that very important Hanzo ultimate. They also have Nano coming up pretty soon. Defenders, on the other hand, with pretty much only Nano Boost. Everything else they're pretty low on, besides maybe Diva Bomb. But of course, with this much cover on this map, it's very hard to find effect with that unless you can boop someone out of position or just find some really just clutch spot or angle. Really difficult to make much out of that. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not his ultimate. He is demeched. That was my mistake. Anyways, pushing forward is the attackers, taking all the space that they are given. Cosmo is still falling back, gets grabbed. Diva fails to eat the ultimate, unfortunately. Both of the tanks fall early in this fight, and this is going to be a very quick attack. Although Uresi does get nanoed. They counter nano onto Stormguard, but I'm not sure that was entirely necessary, given they have a Mercy and an Ana pocket. We will see. Time will tell. As the attackers push on to point 3, Cosmos and Onion still giving up some of that space, but how could they not with that much damage coming in from that pretty much uncontested Pharah? Attackers really snowballing this fight here. Defenders really need to build some ultimates up and bank on them. Really unfortunate they popped that nano, especially because they have Blade now, but they are coming up on Valkyrie. Attackers, though, with Shatter and Barrage, that could be huge. Also coming up equally on their Mercy Valk. This is not looking good for the defending side, but this is a fantastic hold position as they do have short spawn, and it is very tight for the attackers to push into. Pushing forward is the attackers, still taking all that space they can. Onion popping the bomb, not finding much from it, but Dub's able to pick off Shadow in the melee. Devilith with the barrage up top, doesn't find anyone as he gets slept by the defenders. Uresi coming into the backline with a big blade, and he looks like he is going to finish up this fight in style. Coming back, Crusaders on the defense. They're going to have Shatter, Valkyrie, maybe Nano, and High Noon, the most useless ultimate in the game, during this fight. Attackers, on the other hand, are going to have that all-important Mercy ultimate and the Hanzo arrow. They also do have Earth Shatter. This could be a big combo we see coming up here. Pushing forward as the attackers. Once again, defenders choosing to fall back into that choke. In this particular point, I think it makes sense, but overall, it has not worked out for them very well. Popping Dragon to split the team and about to keep their team up. Cosmo getting a shatter, but getting bubble blocked. Stormguard trying to counter shatter, but getting stunned. That was absolutely massive. High Noon coming in from the back does find the Valking Majora, and it looks like this fight is going to be over. Attackers going to have to reset and come up with a new game plan, or at least sit and wait for their ultimates. And the late stagger coming in for the Diva of Devilith. That always hurts to see. Poor Diva. Anyways, attackers here do have Nano, they do have Grab, they could swing into it with the Reinhardt. That provides huge amounts of damage, but with two main healers, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pull it off. And with Onion having that bomb, he could counter it quite easily by just dropping his bomb in the middle of it and forcing him to walk away. Defenders once again choosing to hold in that choke. Onion having his boosters holding a little bit farther forward. Just trying to create a little bit of space for his team. Does pop bomb early. Interesting he didn't save that for bomb. The Ana being picked off by that bomb. Stormguard does find Cosmo. This is still anyone's fight. Stormguard getting anti-healed though. Uresi with another blade gets grabbed, but it looks like he is going to finish off this fight with the help of Dubs with the High Noon. However, Dubs is the only one left on point. Attackers could actually have this here. It's going to be close, but no, Cosmo is going to be coming back to recontest well before his the attacking side gets back. See how they play this here, and with 169 remaining, he does pin the Zarya way out of position, and it looks like defenders are going to be coming in with the defense here, but at what cost? They definitely spent a lot of ultimates, but their enemy spent an equally large amount of ultimates, so I think this was a pretty equal battle here. Ultimately, I think it fell in favor of the defenders, but considering that they just popped Nano Blade, I may have to take that back. Uresi, unless he can make something huge from it, won't be able to find much. Doesn't. Stormguard charging in, knowing that he can push here. Does DMech Onionfish. This is huge. Only 3 left to defend, and they do have a Tracer in the backline, distracting the defending side. Cosmo in real trouble here. Pop Shatter, once again, bubble block. QWERTY with those bubble blocks, absolutely massive. Cosmo tries to get the charge, and Uresi finds Majora. Uresi absolutely popping off in this match. Stormguard finally takes down Cosmo, takes down Uresi as well. Shadow cleaning up Dubs, and it looks like this is just going to be a stall effort from the defenders here on round number 1 of Rialto. A great game from both sides, and definitely a great .3 hold from the defenders. In my opinion, they could have used slightly better ultimate management, and they would have been able to perhaps hold and at least drive it into overtime, but a good round nonetheless. And hindsight is 20/20, you never know. Well, considering that they were coming up on grab towards the end, I'm not going to overanalyze it. Anyways, next round here coming up. Looks like we're going to have Monstars here on the defense with Crusaders attacking. Endil says, High Noon is great. Frowny face. Say that to all the McCrees who get shot in the head as soon as they press Q. As we sit through the preparation stage, we just take a moment here, admire Rialto. And thank you guys for watching.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
We've really experienced fantastic channel growth just in the past few weeks that we've been streaming. And we also want to thank you guys for the community engagement. It's been fantastic thus far. Really love to hear from the community. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and direct it towards anybody on the staff of the Rose League, or you can hop on our Discord server and voice your concerns there. Anyways, attackers running a Ryan Zarya with a Genji Widow composition, Moira and Lucio on the healing. Defenders, on the other hand, are running that Pharah again with a Hanzo, basically the same composition from the defenders. Cosmo to get a takedown early along with Dubs, or Devilith finding Dubs, I'm sorry. That's going to be huge. Definitely going to be shutting down the attack. Onionfish, unfortunately, out of position here. I think it'd be wise for him to just throw himself off the objective. He does end up getting killed. Uresi does find the pick, though, onto that Pharah. So unless they can get that res, that will be huge for their tanks to be able to stay up. Crusaders on the attacking side really need to push here before that Pharah gets back. Cosmo finding a space. Dubs taking up flank spot in the alley. Let's see if he can make anything of that. Hanzo finally taking attention to him. Cosmo, meanwhile, taking on the front line, but Stormguard does have a full pocket heal, so it's going to be difficult for him. Pulls a long charge, doesn't find anything, and Stormguard gets nanoed, finds a 1 to shatter in the back, does get picked off by his team, and that is going to be that for this attack. Looking at the ult economy here, we have the defenders coming up on that notoriously big draft barrage combo. They also have the Hanzo era coming up. It's going to be interesting to see which one they decide to play here. Majora coming up on that Mercy Valk, definitely going to be essential for keeping his team online, as Cosmo does have Shatter. Kokazel with the Coalescence. Uresi, we've seen how effective he is with that blade. Let's see if he can make anything of it. Really, all of the ultimates coming up for the attackers at about the same time. Meanwhile, the defenders stuck with just 3. But the defenders able to grab or ult first, and they do win this fight. Dubs finding that late pick onto Majora, though. That could be big if they can regroup quickly. Team kill from the attackers, but the from the defenders, but the attackers do have the ult economy advantage here by really a mile. They have to push quick though before this Mercy shows up. They need to be on the payload yesterday, as Widow of Dubs pops sights. Coalescence is used by Kokazel. Mercy Valk on the other side. Stormguard just fighting it out in the front line up against 2 tanks. Cordy at his side. Cosmo finding a huge shatter, getting grabbed right after, and they also use the blade. Maybe a bit of overkill, but they really need to get this done in this fight, or else they're going to be having trouble. It's just Onionfish and Zappa left on the point. Majora able to get the res. That is absolutely massive, as it's just Zappa left on the point. Cordy and Devilith, the only ones there. They need to push quick before the rest of the team shows up. As I say that, Stormguard comes on the scene. Cosmo needs to be interested in getting on that Reinhardt yesterday, as they push up. No real ults to speak of from the attacking team. Meanwhile, defenders do have Nano Boost and Shatter online. That's definitely going to be huge for this fight. Over-ulting is one of the worst things you can do in a desperate situation like this. Devilith just getting massive effect from that Pharah. They did swap to the McCree, trying to counter her better, and it does look like it worked out for him. Yeah, Uresi swapping from the Genji over to the McCree. Dubs in the back does finally find Devilith, but not before Uresi falls. Cosmo forced to fall back a bit, losing a bit of space. 30 seconds remain, and they need to push this. Coalescence comes out, but a huge shatter by Stormguard. Cosmo tries to counter shatter, but does not get it off in time. Unfortunate to see from the attacking side there. They may be able to piece together one more push here, but it is definitely going to be desperate, as they only have sights, Grav, and Sound to speak of. Meanwhile, the defenders with much better economy here, having 4, almost 5 of their 6 ultimates online. Cosmo pushing in quickly, but they get grabbed just short of the objective. Very unfortunate to see. One person does trigger overtime though, Zappa on the point, but I feel like it is just a move of desperation at this point, as they are very slowly cleaned up by the defending Monstars. And that is going to be that for round number 1 of this Rose League game.
Play of the game. Triple kill.
Fantastic game to watch. We definitely saw huge plays from both sides, and all different classes of heroes. It was a fantastic game to watch. Be interesting to see how map 2 goes for him. I'm hoping to see that Crusaders can get that ult management down and under control. Really a huge problem for them, especially when their backs are up against the wall. It's a very common issue to see at really any elo, any level of play. Teams just start feeling like there's not much that they can do in the fight, so they run in without a plan, and they just think, okay, well, I'll just press Q and we will win. And oftentimes that's just not the way it works, unfortunately. Next map is going to be Oasis here. Another fantastic map to watch. As we have a second of downtime here, we're going to take a quick second to thank our sponsor, Pegasus Esports. or I'm sorry, Pegasus Athens Esports. They are a premier esports and gaming community. They do have multiple teams, one of which is involved in the Rose League this season, and they were nice enough to support us during our inaugural season. So shout out to them for making this all possible. And really, our goal here is to bring you as high a level of content as possible. Our goal really is Overwatch League level content. And while we may not have their budget, we can at least try as hard as they do to bring you guys fantastic gameplay. And hopefully we're delivering on that promise tonight. Like I said, any questions, comments, input, you can either just drop them in Twitch chat, and if one of our admins or if I see it, I will certainly reply to it. If we don't end up getting back to you, I believe, yes, our Discord link is in the description of the Twitch. Just go ahead and hop in there and ping administrator. I'm the director of the media team. Go ahead and ping me any questions you have at all. No questions too stupid, but if you ask a stupid question, you may get a stupid answer. Just keep that in mind. Anyways, coming up on Oasis. Looks like we are going to be running, not sure yet, as they haven't quite picked. I know at least Monstars are going to be running a dive composition with Tracer and Genji. Actually a completely classic dive composition here. Awesome to see that, given the current meta of the game being kind of rock, paper, scissors. Good to see teams going out of the box, going out of their way to just make old styles of play work or come up with new ways to play them, to kind of run around certain heroes. I'm sure if there are any hard counters on the side of the Crusaders, we will see a swap. On the Crusader side, it's almost a mirror comp, except swapping that Zenyatta for an Ana, which is definitely a huge counter. So I'd say Crusaders coming in with the advantage into this map. Cosmo and Onion very quickly taking the high ground, asserting their dominance over that space. Kind of assessing, trying to find a target. As the Tracer gets into the backline, Onion chases him down, does recall. Not much going on here as both teams just kind of scope out their enemy, try and figure out what they want to do. Uresi getting a pick on the Majora, that's absolutely massive. They will definitely be initiating onto this. All of the tanks dive in, follow Uresi's example. Devilith is capping the point, but it does not matter. As Blue Team got a pick onto their main healer, I imagine, yep, it's just going to be a case of cleaning up from this point on. And I do apologize, I just got word that I said Pegasus Athens. It is Athens, Pegasus. So, you know, English is hard. The order of sentences are difficult, but that's okay. Speaking of economy, Uresi coming up on his blade here along with the nano boost. Dubs does have his bomb coming online very soon. Devilist also does have bomb though. But overall, Crusaders definitely have the ult economy advantage in this map. At least so far. Stormguard trying to push in, but this is not how you want to be pushing as Dive. A pocket v pocket battle. Cosmo chasing, but Devilith with a pick on Cocozel. This is absolutely massive for the side, or for the Monstars. As they push on, Uresi does find that counter pick on the Devilith, but it is going to be too little too late as Monstars just start to clean up and try to force everybody everybody else off of the point. A little bit of split attention here from the teams. Unfortunate to see, but it seems to be working for him, so. No ultimates used by either side in that match, so this is going to be a high economy fight here. I think this fight is going to come down to, no matter which team takes it, it's going to be down to who has more economy in the next fight. That's usually how these are decided. So if one team uses no ults, the next team uses 2 ults, then usually the team that used no ults will come back. Uresi coming in with the blade on point, but Devilith does find 2 with that huge pulse bomb. Majora cleaning up Uresi with the battle mercy onto the ulting Genji. Always fantastic to see. Anyways, as I said here, Majora did pop Valkyrie in this fight, so as I said, I believe Crusaders are going to have the advantage coming to this map. Uresi swapping over to the Doomfist off of the Genji after getting Battle Mercy down. I don't blame him. Anyways, looking for Dive, just kind of scoping it out. Launching a bomb is Monstars, not finding anything, and a blade into the backline onto the supports does find Ana. That's big, but they do pop Nano onto Uresi before the Ana goes down. Could make something from it, but Cocozelle does go down just as Onion launches the bomb. It looks like it's going to be too little too late unless they can make a miracle here. Does not look like that is going to happen for them today. So Monstars now with a slight ult economy advantage, but only slight. Crusaders do have the more valuable of the Mercy ultimate. Stormguard's going to be able to stay up for a very, very long time. That Ana is certainly going to be vulnerable as Onion swaps off the D.Va and goes over to Ham and Zappa coming over to Lucio. That is certainly less vulnerable to Stormguard's ultimate there. Devil is trying to pulse bomb, not finding anything. Popping the Valk is Crusaders, trying to initiate hard. Cosmo kind of going for a blind dive, but it seems to be working out for him, but none of his team appears to be with him. Zappa, as I said, just getting booped into the corner. Onion trying to do something about it as they do trigger overtime. Onion slamming down on the point. Here comes Monstars with a bomb on point. Does connect with Zappa. That's a big pick. Shadow does find Uresi. That's another huge pick for the side of Monstars. As Cordy picks off Cosmo, Stormguard picking off Cocozelle, and it looks like this is going to be just about that. Uresi, though, finding 2 late in the match, but is it going to be enough this late? It all comes down to, can that Lucio bring the rest of his team to the point? Monstars popping that late sound, trying to sustain on the point. They do have the man advantage here, though. Neither team really able to clean up either side in this fight, as Cocozelle does get back. He's immediately getting focused, not really finding much support from his team, and he does go down quick. Dubs, on the other hand, picking off Shadow. That's another big pick. Monstars, Dubs pop Valk, and Rises Shadow. This is absolutely hectic gameplay here. Shadow picking off Dubs, and I believe, yeah, 3 on 6. Monstars at least do have the advantage here. Cosmo does pick up another ultimate here, and I am absolutely out of breath. As we continue the stall, Zappa does have the sound, which he pops on the point. Doesn't look like it connected with anyone, though, unfortunately. Besides himself, at least he is going to stay up. Cosmo does get picked off those Monstars with another big ultimate, not finding anything. Cocozelle really having a tough time in this match. Goes down once again, or at least for this stall. Really getting focused hard as soon as he gets on the point, and for good reason. Onion Fist does connect with Devilith, but it looks like he's going to trade it with his life as Shadow pops the blade on the point, looking to end this ridiculously long hold on Oasis. At this point, if you get off of the point for even half a second, this game is going to be done. Cosmo does just that, drains almost all of the overtime. He finally goes down, and Cocozelle not able to get there in time. This match is finally over. Just gonna sit here and take a breath. Oh, man. Yeah, if you guys could not drag it out into an overtime again, that'd be great. That'd be real nice. No, I'm kidding. Always exciting to see rounds go that hard and that far.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, coming on to map number 2 of this set. It looks like we're on the side of Crusaders. We are going to be running pretty much classic dive with a Lucio and a Hammond instead. On the side of the Monstars, they are going to be running nearly the same thing, but that far on DPS. Dubs finding the early pick onto that bar. That is a majority of their damage done. Now with a little bit of target focus, they should be able to drop the rest of the targets left on Monstar's side, but Monstar's doing a great job of sticking together despite running the dive comp, but Majora falls, and that is going to be that. And of course, Crusaders here having the better ult economy, so we'll see what they can do with this. Uresi falling early to Devilith, but gets rezzed up. Onion finding the counter pick onto Devilith. Of course, going to be hard to res that as it's in back line. Onion does drop Minefield, but player's now able to avoid Minefield. He's been out for a while. We can avoid it now. Onion picking off Majora, picking off Manahan. Onion picking off Stormguard, absolutely popping off on this Hammond play. I may have to get a couple of tips from him after this game. Just absolutely cleaning up on that tank. And again, managing their ult economy very, very well. Or I'm sorry, at least this fight, Crusaders managing their ult economy very, very well. Monstars, looks like they're just either not able to find value or just not getting their ultimates online quick enough. See how they work this here. Coming through building, which is interesting considering a dive comp, especially against a Hammond. See if they have some sort of plan brewing here. Oh, but as Uresi finds the first pick onto Devilith, that's already a huge disadvantage for them. But Majora does stabilize with the pick onto Onionfish. Bomb not finding anybody as Kokozel, or popping the sound barrier, is the Crusaders. Still anyone's fight here as Uresi finds Manahan. It looks like it's still going in that Crusaders' favor, and this is going to be the last fight for this point. Cosmo, Onion finally pick on the Majora. That's another huge pick. Stormguard finally finishing off Onion, but Kokozel popping that Valkyrie, gonna have a lot of sustain for his team. Crusaders definitely with the man advantage here. Uresi absolutely popping off with another blade. Dubs finishing off the Diva. Dubs getting another pick. Uresi finishing off Manahan once again, and Dubs picking Devilith. Absolutely commanding performance there from Crusaders. Fantastic match there from both teams, really. Ultimately, I feel like the momentum was just in Crusaders' favor that map. They seem to be a lot more comfortable on this map. Perhaps they've had a little bit more practice on it. And they absolutely full-held Monstars on that point, but we are 1-1 coming into map number 2. Monstars have a 1-0 map lead, so it'll be interesting if Crusaders can pull this out and tie the series. Last map here is going to be University of this Oasis set.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture objective.
Crusaders running the Doomfist, Ryan, Zarya. Oh, really, it's a Goats comp, but with a Doomfist instead of a Diva. On the side of Monstars, they're running a more typical 2-2-2 composition with a Pharah and Hanzo doing the damage. Uresi finding that early pick on the Shadow. Uresi really the big playmaker here on this team, clearly. Would not be surprised to see him get a card for damage numbers, but nobody able to contest Devilith as they are running dive. Uresi makes the best effort, and absolutely huge Doomfist play coming around and finding that absolutely massive pick, just cleaning up pick after pick after pick, knocking the Mercy out of res, finishing her off. Uresi with a 4K on the point. Absolutely massive plays from Uresi here. Didn't think he'd find that Pharah counter with a Doomfist, but he proved me wrong, as Doomfist players always do. Rest in peace, I am a Reinhardt player. Pharahs may not have much of a problem, but I just love stopping, or being stopped from moving, getting stunned, you know. And, anyways. From Monstars coming in, the grab barrage here, definitely going to clean this up early. Unfortunately, Crusaders committing 2 ultimates to that fight, which was ultimately lost. In my opinion, they should have just recognized that Monstars were going to roll on with that combo and just saved their ultimates.
This is my will.
Anyways, Crusaders coming back here with the Rally, Grab, and Doomfist ultimate. This is a huge combo they could turn with this. Monstars, with no really big combos, they do pop the Grab early, but it's only finding Stormguard. The ultimate doesn't even find Stormguard, helps finish him off, but it looks like Crusaders are going to be able to bash this out just enough. But the Pharmacy is still stuck behind them as Uresi putting in more work on their backline. This Pharmacy is still doing some contesting, but the Mercy is getting low. Crusaders finally retaking. Crusaders now, I'm sorry if you can hear that in the back. I do have dogs, and there's not much I can do to shut them up, so I apologize if you can hear that. I'll make sure to fix that during the halftime. Anyways, Crusaders here with Sound Barrier. That could be huge for them. And Coalescence, but the barrage from behind picks off 3. Again, popping the sounds late. Very, very unfortunate choice from Zappa, in my opinion, there, because ultimately he's not going to gain much value from it. Sure, he may be able to stall the point out a few more percentage points, but that really was not worth a support ultimate, at least in my opinion. Especially with the Monstars coming up with that Grab Dragon combination and the Moira ultimate to just deal out that extra damage or provide the sustain. Gonna be interesting to see. I think what would be wisest here would just be a dry push trying to coax out that big grab barrage. They should not be ulting right now. They should just leave satisfied that they got an ultimate out of them and just go home, try again, because now it's a whole different ballgame. They have grab coming up, they have rally, they have shatter, they have coalescence, they have doomfist. That fight went exactly as they would have wanted it to. Then again, coming from the Monstars side, I don't really blame them for using the combo, as they are now in a potentially one-fight situation if they can drag this fight out. But Cosmo coming up with a huge shatter, but Devil absolutely shutting it down with that barrage. Very, very well timed. Smart heads-up play by him. Kokosel also unfortunately popping that coalescence. This is going to make life very, very difficult for Crusaders here on this map number 3 of round number 2 in this 1-0 set in favor of Monstars. Popping the grab early, still just finding Stormguard, but he is able to glitch Shatter out of it. Devil is finding a pick, Manahan finding a pick, and it looks like Monstars once again just cleaning up on this point. Monstars are going to take Oasis 2-1. It is 2-0 in the set.
Victory.
And we are going to take a quick little halftime here. 5 to 10 minutes, just let everybody go to the bathroom, get some water in them. Make sure everybody's good to go for the next map.
Listen, never stressing, never regretting, always stepping past the limit, even though you wasn't in it. And I get
Baby, wait, I know that you're afraid, but it'll be okay if you just stay with me. And we can run from here, and we can disappear, and they won't find us where we are going, dear. So baby, hold on to me, 'cause I know I can make you believe in something that only we can see. Oh, so baby, hold on to me, hold on to me. Hold on to me. Baby, wait, I know that you're afraid, but it'll be okay if you just stay with me. And we can run from here, and we can disappear, and they won't find us where we are going, dear. So baby, hold on to me, 'cause I know I can make you believe.
Open the world of music. A new music.
Oh, so baby, hold on to me. Baby, hold
You don't deserve it. Don't deserve it. Tell me what she would be. Don't look at me with sad eyes and pretend you're still mine. How can you explain your loyalty from that night? No amount of sorry's gonna change my mind this time. 'Cause baby, once that trust is gone, you feel dead inside. And our love ends now. I caught you cheating. Caught you cheating. Don't say you didn't mean it. I'm not breaking down. You don't deserve it. Don't deserve it.
All right, we are back from halftime
Traveling to Hanamura.
here on this wonderful November evening. Thank you for joining us and spending your night with us at the Rose League. We are very, very happy to have you. Anyways, with this, I guess the proper name is Assault, but I prefer to call it 2CP LOL map. Personally, I feel like it's one of my favorites, Hanamura, of the 2CP, dreaded 2CP maps. Volskaya is also a pretty good one in my opinion. But I'm a filthy brain dead tank main, so, you know. Anyways, Crusaders here are going to be on the defense first. Looks like they're running, Uresi going back to that, Genji, so definitely feeling confident. After swapping off to Doomfist on, University. They are running that double main heals again with the Ana Mercy. Definitely a good combination of ultimates, although not quite as good as Zenyatta, but you can get out more healing over time while sacrificing your instant heals, you know? Like being able to instantly save everybody. You can keep everybody up more consistently. And then they're also running a Hanzo. Considering the enemy team is running Ryan, Zarya, Tracer, Hanzo, Ana Mercy, probably not a bad plan for him. I think this is going to work out pretty well. Or, I'm sorry, it could work out pretty well for either side here. Pretty balanced. Cosmo finds a Fire Strike onto Majora. That's absolutely huge. Completely tilts the ship to this fight. Gets the charge, but he is really deep. Gets a Fire Strike on a Stormguard. Absolutely huge play. As Dubs finishes off with flanking Devilith. This is absolutely going to shut down Monstars' first push. Cosmo already on that Earth Shatter. Absolutely huge plays from him in order to generate his ult that quickly. Meanwhile, Monstars with no real ultimates here. Again, I think this is one of those situations where a dry run or a dry push would be wise. And no, I take that back, considering it's just Cosmo that has it. Let's see how they play this here. Stormguard's pushing up, maybe trying to bait that Shatter out, not really finding it. Oh, unfortunately does get shattered, and then anti-healed, gets killed. Cordy now also being cleaned up. Does he manage to escape? Yes, he does, thanks to his Mercy Pocket, keeping all of that valuable energy. Onion and Uresi being bold, pushing up. See that the Reinhardt's back, and they say, "Oh no, screw this. We're not gonna push into you. You're a big wall, and you swing a giant hammer." Monstars pushing, swapping over to the Pharah here, noticing they don't really have a counter besides the Hanzo, who, if he makes some PogChamp plays, he could make something here. Crusaders with their Valkyrie, with their Blade, with Nano, and with Grab. They just need to ult first. Monsters popping their Valkyrie, but it's not going to be enough to keep him up from the Grab and Genji Blade combination. Did they also pop Nano? They did. So 3 ultimates used on the side of three ultimates used on the side of Crusaders, compared to just 1 on the side of Monsters. I feel like that was a pretty fair trade there, especially because they have the Grab Dragon combination here. And remember, not running a Zenyatta or a Lucio here can be deadly against those big ult combinations. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this. They're definitely playing a lot more split, trying to prevent the more than 1 or 2 people from getting sucked into the grab. But depending on who it is, Kozel and Onion, that's definitely huge. Kozel dropping, Doves able to find Majora though, so equalizing this fight. Stormguard gets slapped right in front of the objective. That is unfortunate. Uresi coming in with a pick on Manahan, and Crusaders are going to hold this, at least for now. It's just a question, can they get Onion? Unfortunately getting staggered very, very late. This could be a huge opening for Monsters, as they are now pushing in. Crusaders just simply not there yet. That's the problem with 2 CP maps, is that if you die, you are dead for a while. Cosmo realizing what kind of trouble his team is in and falling back, trying to prevent that snowball. Is Mercy doing the same? Saying agreeably, yes, please, let's not feed. Anyways, coming on to point 2 here, Devilith is going to have that barrage. Stormguard with that shatter. No ultimates besides Nano on the side of Crusaders here, so they really have to pull off a big hold. But on these 2 CP maps, it's not a huge ask. It's not as, as huge a deal as maybe some other game modes. Onion doing definitely a bold position to be holding from there. Choosing to drop down, that's definitely the safe choice. Cosmo dropping down with him, so they are still losing a shitload of space here. Devilith just absolutely pounding Uresi. Shadow does eventually find him since he was distracted by Devilith. Devilith raining down justice from above. Devilith just putting in work. The desperation arrow by Dubs. Mercy finds the res on the Ana. Uresi just barely squeezes onto the point, but he does not have much to contest with. Majora able to get the res onto Shadow, but pays for it with her life. Tanks are back on. Could be big here. Cosmo does get demaxed, but Onion just swinging around the point, being a little hamster ball. Tracer also on the point. They could actually turn this here. Oh, but with the grab is QWERTY. Do they have this? Uresi the only one on point right now. Ana in the backline trying to keep him up. Does get the anti-heal on the QWERTY. Definitely needs to focus him here. This could be huge. Cosmo does get back, and are they going to be able to hold this here? Dragon coming in from Monsters. Onion and Cosmo with 2 healers back on the point, but he is getting absolutely devastated by Devilith here, and it looks like Monsters are turning the fight in their favor. Yes, I believe I can say that they do have the advantage here as they pop Nano. Onion still desperately trying to hold, not going to be able to. Tracer also taken down, and that is going to be round number 1 of Hanamura.
Score 0-2. Switching sides.
Vocal cords definitely getting to work out tonight. Anyways, three minutes and wow, English. 3 minutes and 3 seconds left on the clock for Monsters. I'd say that's a moderate amount of time. Seen higher, seen lower. So definitely a not really like a kick your feet up comfortable amount of time, but definitely a we're not getting rolled amount of, you know what I mean? Like they're not too stressed about that time bank right there. So Crusaders gonna have to make this map happen in 5.5 minutes total if they want to finish with at least equal time on the clock. Be interesting to see if they can pull this off. They have a Torbjorn sitting in spawn, but I hope that's just a troll. On the defender side of Monsters, we got the Rhine, Zarya, Moira running the pharmacy once again, and a Brigitte as their secondary DPS. Interesting composition here. If their Pharah goes down, they are going to be severely lacking in long-range damage, and a Widowmaker would do absolute work against this map, but Crusaders, not knowing the composition yet, is running Goats. This actually could be good for them here, but with that Brig, it's definitely going to disrupt. Same with the Pharah. And Cosmo finds just that out. The lack of range from Goats is preventing anybody from doing anything about Devilith, as he just rains damage down, absolutely carrying the damage numbers right now, as the rest of his team just fights it out, just occupies Crusaders' attention. And Uresi trying to look up and get a pick onto that Pharah, but Laser not quite reaching. So Crusaders gonna have to go back to the drawing board on this one. Be interesting to see whether or not they make any swaps. Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're gonna go at least 1 ult round before they decide to make any changes. Once again, a Widow would be so absolutely dominant here. You pick off the Pharah, you pick off the Mercy, and you just have open range. As the barrage comes down from the Devilith, that's going to be absolutely critical. Majora also finding the res onto him. I'm not sure why Crusaders are popping ults here. Again, you guys, you got to bank them. You got to sit here, do some dry runs, accept that you're going to lose a push. And Crusaders very, very quickly running out of time if they want to finish this map in the blue. So they have about 1.5 minutes here to finish the entire map, and that is including the time tacked on here. So that is going to have to be a 1-fight victory for both pushes here. Certainly a big ask, but we've seen it before on these 2 CT maps. As they come pushing in, Grab comes into the back line, not finding much though. Bomb also being dropped. Cosmo with a huge shatter onto the point. Can he deliver anything from it? No, he cannot before he gets shattered. His entire team gets shattered right back, and the combo by Devilith with the barrage. And this is going to wrap it for any hope of Crusaders having positive time left in the bank. Let's just hope that they can finish with more than 1 minute left so that they are not forced into a draw situation. If you're Crusaders now, you have to be making those swaps. And I'm sorry, I just don't see Genji McCree being the correct swaps here. Like I said, I think the Widowmaker with 1 character to defend her would be absolutely dominant here. But they are going to choose to run it their way. And who knows, maybe their players are better at a certain comp, as Sound Barrier is popped for the Crusaders. They also pop grabs. They're going to finish off some in the grab. Monsters popping their Valkyrie. Not entirely sure why. Stormguard also popping his shatter. This could be a snowball opportunity for the Crusaders. That would be absolutely huge not only for their push, but for their team morale. And I am bad at math. I completely lied about the time bank here, as I forgot how 2CP works. Again, brain dead tank main, can't blame me. I have 2 brain cells to rub together, and I'm trying to search for a third and make calls here. Anyways, Cosmo already onto the point, taking the fight there, gets the shatter, doesn't find anyone. Stormguard with the charge, Cosmo trying to counter charge, just a bit late on that one, as Devilith absolutely putting in work. Manhen with the coalescence coming in, absolutely cleaning up. Dubs does get the late pick on a Devilith, but his spawn is right there. He's going to be back in a jiffy. Cordy with his ultimate, Devilith with the barrage combination, and Crusaders not really having any ults to answer here. They need to call for a dry run here. If they got out all 3 ultimates on this push and escaped with maybe 3 casualties, it would absolutely seal this map. They'd have sound, they'd have coalescence, they already have high noon, they'd be coming up at least on shatter. Let's see how they play this here. Still running this 2-2-2 strong completely, and they do get grabbed early on, and not popping any ultimates. I think that's the right choice here, as Monstars did pop every single ultimate here. They are only going to have shatter here, and this is a huge opportunity for Crusaders if they can capitalize on it. They're going to be coming up on sound. They do have coalescence, and they do have high noon. If you can get a sound off to hit that McCree while he's high nooning, he is very, very difficult to kill, especially with the range of the composition they're going up against. It will be very difficult to drop him before he's able to get this high noon off. Let's see what they make of this push here. Cosmo pushing up, taking that space. Devilith, though, coming from the flank route, absolutely laying in damage. They do pop the coalescence to keep him up, but Cosmo, unfortunately, following early. But Dubs with a huge pick on the Majora, but Coco Cell falling down as well. Neither team without main healers, but Zappa finding that sound barrier, but again, they do have the better spawn over on Monsters, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with this, and not the whole team pushing on. It seems to be just Uresi contesting on the objective, and that's not going to be enough here. They need to commit to a push, they need to find big ultimates, and they need to finish it off quick. 2 minutes and 47 seconds left on the bank for Crusaders. They do want to finish with at least 1 minute left on the clock. Monsters finishing with, coming up on Mercy Valkyrie, Barrage, Nano, and Rally here. So I believe this is another one of those situations where you just have to bite the bullet, run in, die quick, don't drain too much time off the clock, just be patient, take your time, understand that you need to get their ultimates out. As Monsters switched over to a dive composition, it seems like they want to maybe put a little bit more pressure on either the frontline DPS or on the healers. Perhaps dropping the healers, forcing the frontline DPS to get off with their supports. Devilith with adding insult to injury. That really was just the only words I have for that. Devilith is completely unnecessary. You knew they were done, you knew they were leaving, but you knew that you'd get that ult back quick, so you did it anyways. And I gotta respect that, you know, knowing that you can pop an ultimate and knowing that it won't really be big, but you're just absolutely just rubbing salt in the wound here of this potential 3-0 sweep we're looking at for Crusaders. They took a very long time to regroup, and now we're looking at this potential huge shatter by Cosmo, comboing it with Grav and Blade. They're popping absolutely everything. Storm Guards does get nanoed. But Devilith coming back with those huge picks. How did he turn that? I don't know. Dubs still with his ultimate being held. Oh my god, I've never seen, what was that, 4-man, 5-man shatter just get absolutely turned around so hard. They need to do something to counter this Pharah. They're coming up on less than 1 minute here. This is going to be a last push for Crusaders. Can they make anything and save themselves from their reverse sweep? We will see. But Devil is coming up with that devastating barrage. He is shown to be so effective with already finding the D-Mech on the Onion Fish. That is going to be absolutely massive, forcing the Crusaders' hand. Dub still with that high noon. Zappa coming up on that nano. Cosmo near his shatter, but not quite close enough. Again, with Stormguards and Devilith, he has to have huge effect with this ultimate. Pushing up main is the Crusaders, and this looks like a big opportunity for Devilith, and Crusaders know it. They're taking this slow, just trying to suck in some of the damage, get her attention away from wherever they are. Not realizing the entire team's attention had been shifted away from them. They could have taken advantage and pushed on that Ana there. They did not, unfortunately, read that. And Devilith lining up big, and it looks like it's going to be huge. Finding 2, and that's absolutely massive. Cosmo with the shatter, but is it going to be enough? Doesn't look like it. Nano boosting Cosmo, but getting booped around by Storms. Doesn't look like he's gonna be able to find very much. Uresi does find the pick onto the Diva Mech, but Devilith absolutely cleaning up. Please, please, somebody who is keeping track of the objectives. Devilith, DM me, bro. I gotta know how many freaking objectives you had on this map, because it has to be absolutely astronomical. Absolutely. Just cleaning up, and this is going to be a 3-0 sweep by Monsters. Unfortunate to see, but Crusaders, to be fair, did put up a great fight. They had the great map on University. They definitely had a good defense. I definitely think one of their biggest weaknesses is ult economy. Just knowing when to be patient and focus on, okay, just focus on next fight. Like this fight, we just need to get done with quick. Like it's gonna hurt. You know, it's gonna suck, but like we just need to get it over with, get some of their ults out, and just go for next fight. I think that should be a major focus for their team, and I feel like there could be a lot of improvement here. But Monsters just proving to be ultimately the better team, or at least better coordinated team. Of course, I missed the cards because I was too busy distracting talking to you, so I don't know what his elims was, but you saw it. I'm sure it was massive. I'm almost certain he had a card. But anyways, that is going to be that for tonight. Just a quick one more shout out to our sponsor. Make sure I get this right this time. Athens Pegasus coming in clutch, making sure that we can put on a show for you guys most every night. And I'm sorry, I was just told that we are not playing best of 5 maps. We are still playing Nimbani, so I lied to you. We are playing one more map, so PogChamp bonus map. Here we go. Anyways, continuing with the plug, Athens Pegasus. They are a premier esports organization. They do have a team in the league. Always a very, very exciting team to watch. Be interesting to see them later in the season. Once again, you can just go ahead and check the Discord if you have a favorite team and want to know their schedule. You can just hop onto our Discord. We'll give you a role, you know, just showing that you are a follower of whatever team or whatever you mean to that team. We'll name you that, and you can go and check their schedule and check the scoreboards and see where they're at in the league relative to other teams. So yeah, all those resources and more available in the Discord. Just waiting on them to start the next match. Alright, starting up this last map, Nimbani. Map number 4. Monsters with the 3-0 lead over the Crusaders. And if I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. They need to find a way to counter that Pharah. If it means going double hit scan, just go double hit scan, man. Sure, it kind of sucks against other heroes, but when a majority of the damage is being done by the Pharah, she is most other heroes. So they really need to come up with a composition that is going to... I hate to use the word hard counter, but they absolutely need to at this point. At least in my opinion. I've been wrong before. Go ahead and chime in chat if you guys have any other ideas for what compositions they could run, any meta discussion. Love to hear your guys' input here.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Anyways, on defense, the Crusaders are going to be running a dive comp with Ana and Mercy. Again, going with the double main heals seems to be their comfort zone. Running the Widow, hopefully to counter the Pharah, and Uresi on that Genji to just keep the pressure on the front line. As we get ready to start our bonus map here, Monsters are going to be attacking first. Looks like they are going to be running a classic dive composition, but substituting the Widow, or substituting, I'm sorry, the Tracer for a Pharah. Again, going with what works. Does get shot by the Ana though. Of course, getting healed up by their Mercy pocket. Tanks diving up, trying to create some space for her, but not really finding much. Still anyone's fight. Devilith on that flanking route though. He needs to get shot quick. He is definitely focusing that Widow. Uresi picks him off. Absolutely massive. Dubs turns around and picks off the Majora, preventing the res, and it looks like Crusaders are going to hold this first fight. Absolutely great play by Uresi there to come in and kill the Pharah while she was pressuring the Widow. So that way the Widow could turn her focus towards the now free and confused Mercy. I won't say confused, I'll say perhaps out of position as she was going for the res. Devilith still just absolutely fragging into Dubs, just trying to get him down, at least whittle him down a little bit. Manahan does find Zappa though, that's a huge pick, they're definitely going to initiate on that. Stormguard finding Onion Fish, Devilith finally finding Dubs. As Stormguard finishes off Kokozel, that is definitely going to be point number 1 of this map number 4, Nimbani. Crusaders looks like they all got short spawn. That's definitely good for their hold. Prevent giving up some of the space, but again, they need to get somebody on Devilith. Looking at economy here, it is actually economy is relatively even due to that first fight win by Crusaders, so it really is anyone's match. But Dubs gets or Majora taken down early by Dubs. That was an absolutely huge shot onto her. And Devilith coming in with that big barrage from up top. Gets eaten and reflected, but he does find 2 with it. Stormguard coming in with the assist to finish off. Kokozel does res Cosmo as they pop the bomb to clear that off. But you gotta remember, point is still moving this whole time. Kokozel popping the Valk late as Devilith drops Dubs. Devilith is now completely behind, pressuring the Ana, completely removing her from doing anything, removing any contribution she might have had to the team, as Uresi does finally finish her off. But back at the front line, Cosmo going ham as Onionfish does drop to that Manahan. Uresi coming in with the backup though, charging out, realizing he has to give up the space, but now nano-blading as bomb comes out for the Monsters, but the bomb does find Uresi. Very unfortunate pick after Shadow finds Kokozel, and this is going to be, unless they can get a quick regroup and recontest, this may be point 2 for Monsters. Zen Mercy double hit scan Ryan Diva. That would be a decent composition. My only concern with that would be we're like combos. They don't really have any big ultimate combos with that. Uresi picking off Manahan early, that's definitely going to slow them down here. But not quite much, as they do find both sides popping their res onto their DPS heroes. In the meantime, not much getting done, just kind of general stalling. Onion drops the bomb in deep, does get bubbled though, very unfortunate. He's going to have to get back quick, unless he wants that. Oh, and Kokozel falls to the Pharah. Absolutely massive. They definitely, that double hit scan is looking better and better by the second. Every pick the Devilith gets, I'm like, oh, if they were running double hit scan. Anyways, moving the cart, and Dubs does find Stormguard. That's definitely a big pick, as they are going to be able to protect this body. Onion swapping over to the Zarya as Cosmo swaps onto May. Nope, swap over to Reinhardt, and they are going to come out and contest this. Running with a much more sustained comp, I think that's the better choice here, considering running dive into this new Pharah is very difficult. As you're running very, very difficult, or I'm sorry, big targets with very predictable movement. At least with this composition, you have a little bit of a shield to hide behind, but still, you have to consider that shield is going to go down eventually. And Devilith is definitely going to be looking for that. Both sides popping Valkyrie, and Monsters absolutely banking on all of their ultimate. Shadow picking off Dubs, Manahan picking off Cosmo, Stormguard on Zappa, and Monsters once again just cleaning up on this point number 3, and it looks like, unless they can find a late stall, nope, they do with the Tracer, but she is quickly dropped, and that is round number 1 of Nimbani in this 3-0 series in Monstars or Monstars? I'm not sure.
Switching sides.
Versus the Crusaders. 3 minutes 10 seconds left on the time bank. Again, not like a 110% Pog champ time, but also nothing to frown on, nothing to be mad about. That's plenty of time. For a few pushes, if it did come down to a round 3 or 4 situation. On the defending side, we are going to see. Once again, we're seeing that 3-2-1 strat from Monstars. This comp is, at least in my opinion, a very situational. It's very relevant to your situation. When you have a Pharah that isn't being countered, in my opinion, that is one of the only times that you can run her as a solo DPS. But I've said it and said it again, and I will say it 1,000 more times until everyone has heard it, and then I'll say it some more. Brig is fair and balanced, unquote. So she can sub for that DPS slot. My only concern is that her very, very limited range will hamper their ability if that far were to go down, but that doesn't seem to be much of a concern for Monstars insofar as Crusaders just trying to get a little bit of progress here, pushing some space. Devolf finding the pick onto the D-Mech onto Cosmo. Dubs picking off Manahan, but he does get quickly rezzed up as the tanks are taking the fight on the ground. Uresi does find the Mercy out of position, but not able to finish the fight. Definitely picking off the Mercy as Manahan gets the pick onto Uresi, and it looks like Monstars are going to hold this .1 fight and have the ult economy to prove it. Crusaders coming in, resetting, getting ready for their next push. Uresi just trying to get some poke damage, build up that ultimate. He's already at 70%. Too big here. It looks like they're just trying to chill, bank some ultimates up. Wait for a mistake. Manahan does find Dubs, so that's not the mistake they wanted to see. Is Devil, what names are hard, okay? Onion, Devil picks off Onion Fish. Cordion gets the D-Mech on the Cosmo, and that is also going to be fight number 2 on this Nimbani .1. Map number 4, round number 2. How many ways do you want to say it? Strong Ana player could counter Pharah player. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, you could run that. The problem is your Ana would be under a lot of pressure just from that Pharah spam, but she would be able to deal with it with her self-healing. Onion diving in, not really finding much. Tival popping the barrage from way up high as Crusaders now decide to use pretty much all of their ultimates, all 5. But does find one pick onto Shadow though, but they are going to res it. Uresi finally popping his blade. That is their 6th and final ultimate popped in. It looks like this is going to be the big one, the moneymaker. Cordy, though, with the bomb on point, does find Onion Fish. They could turn this back despite the 6 ults used. Kokozel reses Onion Fish back up, and it looks like it's going to be a 2-on-5 here. I stand corrected. Crusaders are going to be able to turn this, unless some miracle stall happens, which it will not. They turn .1 over with about a minute remaining, so they still have a decent amount of time in the clock. If they can push through .2 and maybe just 2 or 3 fights on .3, they may be able to finish with a strong amount of time in their time bank. Anyways, tanks, Lucio, and Tracer are already up, looking for some dive opportunities, looking for routes, looking for out of position squishies. See if they find anyone. Uresi, I love the style. Trying to reflect far rockets back at her, at least suppressing the amount of damage coming into his team. Meanwhile, he is now completely focusing that Pharah. As once again, Crusaders swapping off of really any solid Pharah counter. I see that Pharah dive is Monstars' specialty, and I can see that. They are clearly well practiced. Stormguard picking off, or D-Mech and Cosmo as he got out of position and inside the building, which is never somewhere you want to go when you have explosive damage heroes in the building. Stormguard dropping onto the point, trying to protect his Mercy, and he does succeed, finding 2, or at least helping on the second default. Once again, getting a huge barrage off. He has these things every fight, man. So you're looking at 2 minutes and 25 seconds for Crusaders. They're coming up on nearly all of their ultimates. Monstar has everything except Far All, but as we know, he'll have that relatively quick Onion Fish, unfortunately falling early. That is a huge, huge L for Crusaders at this moment. He does get rezzed up, but even still, using the reses, that's a major resource that you can't afford to burn very often. Not sure why they're taking the fight in the front line here. You've got a Zen and a Juicy Brig just sitting there. That would be my dive target. Bomb coming in for both teams. See if we can find a huge, huge bomb by Cosmo. Absolute Poco bomb. Somebody assigned this kid to Owl. Unassisted 3K Diva bomb. Absolutely massive. And that was the blessing that Crusaders needed to get this objective to point 2. As Monstars did commit quite a few ultimates to that fight as well. Could be argued that, well, it can't be argued, it is that Crusaders definitely saved more ultimates there. And obviously they were more efficient with their economy as they finished them off. Dubs absolutely putting in work here, breaking up, staggering them absolutely hard. Not sure why they're falling back here. It is the Brig was back in their backline flanking a little bit, so they just want to make sure she's done before they push back forward. Tanks falling back here for Monstars, and as the tanks of Crusaders push in, Onion does get anti-healed though, and that is big L for him. They're definitely going to lose a lot of that frontline capacity here. Uresi once again, showing that he has a bone to pick with this Pharah. He is tired of these rockets raining in on his tanks, and he wants to do something about it. Whether he's Genji or not, he's just going to do something about it. And I applaud him for that. Anyways, pushing in here. Monstars, once again, coming up on almost all their ultimates. Devolve popping his barrage, but not finding anything. Uresi does get the charge onto him. Bomb goes on to point by Cordy, finds the D-Mech. Dub gets the pick onto Shadow. Crusaders do have the advantage here, as well as the ults to prove it. Popping the Valkyrie on both sides is the Mercy, just trying to keep everybody up. Uresi, now is the time to blade, my friend. Just get some pick. Storm with the monkey up front. Onion disrupting the front line. And here comes the blade and the sound bearer, followed by the bomb. Bomb not finding anything, but definitely zoning them off. Oh, Uresi unfortunately not finding anybody, but while distracted, Dubs did manage to find Majora. Cosmo also finds Devolve, but Onion and Uresi also fall. You do have Stormguard behind on the objective right now, pressuring your Mercy, but she's able to get out with Guardian Angel. Storm definitely jumping after her, though, but as Monstars does have the spawn advantage, they are able to hold here. Oh, excuse me. Throat's getting a bit sore from all this exciting gameplay. If the gameplay wasn't so good, I wouldn't have to be talking so much, so... Anyways, pushing here. Monstars has Bomb, nothing much else. Dubs has Pulse Bomb, nothing much else. I'm sure that'll change once they get in there. Switching over to the Ryan Czar comp is Crusaders. Onion, very smart to turn around and block that from his Mercy, but Uresi falling early to Shadow. That is unfortunate. Nobody has quite noticed the Tracer yet or done anything about her. Does eventually cap the Mercy. That's a huge pick. Onion is going to have to stay on this objective here, as there is only 15 seconds remaining in this round, but he is being forced off by the tanks and Shadow, the fair and balanced healer, of course. And it looks like our Tracer is going to be coming. Tracer of Dubs is going to be coming from top and triggering overtime here. Cordy reading it though, popping up top as Onion comes in, unfortunately gets bubble blocked, able to block the bomb. That was absolutely huge bubble block there. Shadow getting nano boosted here, is able to find the picks, and it looks like this is just going to be cleanup to finish up this map number 4 for the unfortunate, for the Crusaders at least, 4-0 sweep for Monstars. We have witnessed some excellent Pharah-based dive gameplay here. If you want to learn, or if you want to get your team to start running a Pharah-based dive composition, I would highly recommend this VOD. Absolutely excellent gameplay from both sides. And if I am, hopefully I am correct, is that our last map now? Let me just wait for confirmation. Oh yeah, okay, that is actually our last map. I'm not lying to you this time. Only had one game today. Let me check what is going on tomorrow before I sign off with you guys. Just to let you know who's playing, in case you're interested in any of the teams. Let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not realize that tomorrow is Sunday, so we are going to be taking a day off. But if you would like to join us on Monday, the 12th, we have Not Bitter versus the Golden Lions for our next regular season game. After that, we have Varied Academy and No Parking on the 13th. Expandable and Making Plays on the 14th. NL University and Crusaders on the 15th. And Ragnarok versus Making Plays on the 16th. And then THS versus, Expandable versus Monstars on the 17th. So if you want to see Monstars again, or play again, next Saturday is definitely the time to swing by. That being said, we have a fantastic schedule lined up for this weekend. I thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate all of the support. I'm happy to say that we were able to reach affiliate status. So once we get all the paperwork sorted, we'll be able to have that sub button up, which is fantastic. And we are so grateful to you guys, because really without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. You know, like we wouldn't be able to say that we started a grassroots Overwatch league. So anyways, guys, I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I am signing off.